Before dawn on June 4th, 1942, young Japanese pilots sit strapped into cockpits on 4 carriers. They inhale the cool Pacific air and steady their nerves. In the ready rooms, others review target maps one last time. On deck, mechanics and crews check cables, fuel lines, and arming wires in a final rush. None of them know that 240 miles to the northeast, 3 American carriers have already come into the wind to launch. What Tokyo expects to be a crushing victory will, in only hours, become a calamity. 4 carriers that led at Pearl Harbor will slip under the sea. Steel, fuel, and the dream of expansion will go with them. Over 3,000 skilled airmen and sailors will be gone. 6 months of triumphs will end. And here we tell the story from the side that lost. The admirals who conceived it. The air crews who flew it. The sailors who died in it. This is Midway as they lived it. Roll back to the spring of 1942, 2 months before the disaster. In Tokyo, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, Commander-in-Chief of the Combined Fleet, argues with the Naval General Staff. The public believes victory is assured. The reality is different. Pearl Harbor, brilliant tactically, missed a single decisive target. Not one American carrier was at anchor that morning. That absence haunts Yamamoto. The USS Enterprise and USS Lexington had been at sea on December 7th. 6 months later, American carriers still strike across the Pacific. Worse, on April 18th, American B-25 bombers, launched from USS Hornet, fly over Tokyo. The Doolittle Raiders. The physical damage is light. The shock is profound. The Emperor's capital is not invulnerable. Someone must answer for that. Vice Admiral Chuichi Nagamo, who led the Pearl Harbor attack, feels the heat. He did not launch a third wave. He did not catch the carriers. Now, Tokyo has been bombed. Pressure builds for a decisive blow. Inside the Navy, 2 visions collide. The Naval General Staff urges a southern push. Consolidate the Solomons and New Guinea. Sever the route between America and Australia. Yamamoto presses a different course. He knows time is not on Japan's side. Years in America taught him what industry can do. Steel in Pittsburgh, ships at Newport News, fields that feed armies of workers. Once American production turns, Japan will drown in material. As he told Prime Minister Fumimaro Konoe in 1940, he could promise a hard fight for 6 months. Beyond 2 or 3 years, he had no confidence. In September 1941, he warned again. Japan would expand in all directions like an octopus, but a year and a half at most was the limit. He had been right so far. His answer is Operation Midway. 2 small coral islets, barely 6 square miles. Yet Midway's location, 1,100 miles northwest of Pearl Harbor, makes it the forward outpost of American power. Submarines refuel there. Patrol aircraft range from there. To Yamamoto, the atoll is perfect bait. The Americans must defend it. Their carriers will come. When they do, the superior Japanese fleet will crush them in the decisive battle long taught by Japanese doctrine. The plan is vast, perhaps too vast. Separate forces move across thousands of miles. An invasion armada to seize Midway. A carrier strike force to smash air power. A main body with battleships, including Yamamoto's flagship, Yamato. A diversion to the Aleutians to split attention. Nearly 200 ships, the largest fleet Japan has ever sent to sea. The operations order runs to 700 pages. It reaches many commanders only days before sailing. Opposition rises and is brushed aside. Rear Admiral Matome Ugaki, Yamamoto's chief of staff, conducts war games in early May. The results disturb him. American carriers appear earlier than expected. Japanese losses are heavy. Umpires intervene. American hits are reduced. Japanese ships declared sunk are ruled afloat. Lieutenant Commander Minoru Genda, architect of the Pearl Harbor Plan, warns of complexity and vulnerability. He is ignored. Victory disease spreads. At Coral Sea, the Japanese believe they sank 2 American carriers. In truth, only USS Lexington was lost. USS Yorktown, thought crippled, returns to Pearl Harbor. 1,400 workers labor day and night. In 3 days, Yorktown sails again. Japanese intelligence misses it. Their estimate, at most, 2 American carriers will oppose them. Nagumo himself doubts. He is a torpedo officer by training, not an aviator. Seniority gave him the First Air Fleet, not affinity. At Pearl Harbor, he held back a 3rd strike. Now the task is even harder. His carriers have been at sea almost without pause since December. Darwin, Ceylon, the Indian Ocean, the Coral Sea. Air crews are exhausted. The ships need repairs. Coral Sea has cost dearly. Shokaku is badly damaged. Zuikaku has suffered heavy aircrew losses. Both will miss Midway. 2 of the best decks will be absent. As Nagumo confides to his chief of staff, Captain Ryunosuke Kusaka, they are being asked to do too much with too little. The Americans have had time. The pilots are tired. The enemy carriers are unlocated. Yamamoto is gambling with the Empire. The gravest flaw is intelligence. The Americans have broken the Navy's JN-25B code. Commander Joseph Rochefort at Station Hypo in Pearl Harbor has been reading traffic since early 1942. He knows of Operation MI. The target is confirmed through the famous AF ruse. Midway sends a false report of a water shortage. The Japanese report that AF is short of water. The date is fixed. Admiral Chester Nimitz has the Japanese order of battle. He moves his forces into position. The submarine picket line meant to watch Pearl Harbor arrives too late. American carriers have already slipped by. The planned long-range reconnaissance of Pearl Harbor by flying boats, Operation K, is cancelled when the submarine number 123 finds USS Thornton and USS Pelba at French frigate Shoals, the intended refueling site. In March, 2 Kawanishi H-8K flying boats had refueled there to bomb Oahu. Nimitz learned the lesson. One by one, the eyes that could have seen the trap go blind. Signals hint at danger. American submarine activity rises. Message traffic surges around Midway. The ease with which the Americans found Japanese forces at Coral Sea suggests compromise. The warnings are dismissed. Confidence wins. As one staff officer says, Americans are too slow to break codes and too cautious to fight without superiority. They will appear only after Midway falls. Then they will be destroyed. On May 27th, the anniversary of Togo's victory at Tsushima, Nagumo's Kido Butai sails. 4 carriers: Akagi, Red Castle, Nagumo's flagship and Yamamoto's former command. Kaga, Increased Joy, converted from a battleship hull. Hiryu, Flying Dragon. Soryu, Green Dragon. Together they carry about 248 aircraft, with 225 fit for combat. The crews are the most experienced naval aviators alive. These are the men who humbled Pearl Harbor and ranged from Hawaii to Ceylon. What could stop them? Commander Minoru Genda, still weak from an emergency appendectomy, serves as Air Operations Officer. He writes before departure that the operation is rushed. Intelligence is thin. The plan is too elaborate. Duty remains, even to death. May the gods shield Japan, for catastrophe may await. Another omen. Commander Mitsuo Fuchida, who led the Pearl Harbor strike, undergoes an emergency appendectomy aboard Akagi in late May. He is too weak to fly. Japan's most experienced strike leader will not be in the cockpit when needed. June 3rd. 600 miles to the north, the Aleutian diversion begins. Rear Admiral Kakuta Kakuji's light carriers Ryujo and Junyo strike Dutch Harbor in Alaska. The bait is laid. But Nimitz does not bite. His code breakers have told him the real target. The American carriers remain near Midway. The deception fools only those who planned it. Nagumo's force steams through fog. Radio silence keeps the far-flung groups deaf to one another. In the ready rooms, Lieutenant Joichi Tominaga reviews the Midway photos one last time. They are weeks old. They show the runway, tanks, and gun pits. They do not show radar. A set on the island will spot the strike at 93 miles. That evening, PBY flying boats find the invasion group 700 miles west of Midway. The message electrifies the defenders. A pilot radios, main body sighted, bearing 262, distance 700. Nagumo's carriers remain unseen, masked by weather and distance. On Akagi's bridge, Kusaka warns that the invasion force being sighted could raise American alertness. Nagumo is calm. The invasion group is meant to be seen. It will draw the enemy out. Midway will be bombed at dawn. When their carriers rush in, the trap will close. 300 miles to the northeast, Admiral Raymond Spruance, aboard USS Enterprise, plots Nagumo's likely position. The American carriers are already at sea, already where the Japanese do not expect them. Task Force 16 under Spruance with Enterprise and USS Hornet. Task Force 17 under Admiral Frank Jack Fletcher with the hastily repaired USS Yorktown. At Point Luck, northeast of Midway. Clear skies, calm seas, long visibility. At 4:30 in the morning, Akagi and Kaga begin launching. 36 D-3 A-Val dive bombers, 36 Nakajima B-5N Kate-level bombers, 36 Mitsubishi A-6M0 fighters. Tominaga leads them into the lightening sky. As 108 aircraft depart, Nagumo makes his first fateful choice. He holds back 108 more, armed with Type 91 torpedoes and 800-kilogram armor-piercing bombs. If American ships appear, he will be ready. Prudence now, consequence later. At 5 in the morning, 7 search planes arc out. The ocean is huge. The coverage is thin. Most critical of all, the number 4 scout from the cruiser Tone launches 30 minutes late. Catapult trouble, some say. Engine issues, others say. That delay will cascade. At 5:34, PBY pilot Lieutenant Howard 80 spots the carriers and transmits. Enemy carriers. At 5:52, he adds detail. 2 carriers and battleships. Bearing 320 degrees. Distance 180 miles. Course 135. Speed 25 knots. On Enterprise, Spruance decides. The range is extreme, nearly 200 miles. Fuel margins will be razor-thin. He orders the strike anyway. Hit them when they are busiest, during recovery. At 5:53, Midway radar picks up the incoming Japanese strike, 93 miles out. Sirens wail. Every aircraft launches. Bombers go to attack. Fighters to defend. 20 Brewster F, 2 A Buffaloes, and 7 Grumman F. 4 F Wildcats roar into the sky. The Zeros outnumber them nearly 4-1. The interception comes at 6:16. Marine Major Floyd Parks radios his last. Hawks at Angels 14, supported by fighters. The Zeros carve them apart. 13 Marines fall. 4 are badly damaged. Major Parks is killed. The Japanese lose 3 fighters. At 6:30, Tomonaga's bombers arrive over Midway. Dive bombers and level bombers strike with skill. Fuel tanks burn. Buildings crumble. Runways are cratered. Yet Tomonaga sees American aircraft still launching. The runway, battered, is usable. Nothing has been caught on the ground. At 7 o'clock, Tomonaga radios Nagumo. A second strike is required. The message arrives as the first American counterblows from Midway appear. 6 TBF Avengers and 4 B-26 Marauders run in low with torpedoes. The Zeros on combat air patrol dive on them. 5 Avengers go down. 2 Marauders fall. 1 B-26, Susie Q, flown by Lieutenant James Murray, drops its torpedo, and then, engines screaming, roars straight at Akagi.